What's up, Planko fans? I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Michael.
And today we are doing a park tour of the island. This is a collab park that I did with Corey from Webb Gaming.
Yes, and I think it had 8 or 9 episodes that y'all did, correct? Um,
9 episodes.
9 episodes, yeah. And so Jasmine and Corey basically each had the park for a week and built on it. And how did y'all come up with this design of making it an island? um, Before y'all even began the park, like how did you guys come up with this idea or theme for the park?
Really, it was Corey's idea, and he shaped like the terrain and everything. And I just, I let him do it because he's much better at that than I am. Um, but I think we mutually decided to use the tropical map because it's kind of a smaller map, and so we didn't want it to be like this ginormous park.
Yeah. And so before we begin actually looking at the interior of the park, let's look at the parking lot real quick. Um, and so Corey worked on this parking lot and also the hotel out there. Um, but Jasmine, what are your thoughts on kind of this area that Corey was able to work on for the park?
Yeah, he did a really good job with this, which he always does with parking and entrances. Originally, he had two of those car track rides to make it look like people were driving around in the parking lot, but we had to get rid of those just to save on some piece count. But yeah, I think he did an excellent job with this, and I really like how it kind of set the tone for the park.
Yes, and I think one thing both of you guys did a great job of was kind of blending each of your styles because Corey did this whole kind of entrance area, so he made these really cool kind of like tropical cabana type. I don't know if cabana is the right word, but you know what I'm saying. These kind of almost like beachy resort type buildings, and then when you started building, you then built this whole area back here, and it just flows together so well. Um, like in my opinion, if we didn't know that you and Corey both were building this, it just seems like it could have been built by the same creator. Um,
Yeah.
so I think y'all did a good job with this because I love this bridge and this kind of covering that you made.
Thanks. Yeah, we kind of shared some pictures of real life buildings to kind of get an idea of what we were looking for. And I found those kind of, I guess you could call them like cabanas, like you said, which Corey modeled those off of. And it turned out really well.
Yeah, and so that's cool to hear though that even though when he was building, you were still sending him ideas that he then kind of put to life. Um, and so yeah, y'all really did a great job with this. And so let's actually head in the park, shall we, Jasmine? Now, since this is your park, which way do we want to go first? Do we want to go to the left in the park or the right?
Let's start going to the left.
Okay. So right when you enter, um, now since a lot of this is stucco, let's take a guess who built this section. If any of
Yeah.
you have followed our channel for a while, you should know Jasmine loves her stucco. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think both of y'all kind of worked on part of this, didn't you?
So I did all the buildings in the planner. Corey did the flooring with
Yeah.
for the plaza.
Yeah, and that's another area to me that just really showed how well you guys work together because, you were able to overlap in some areas, and it just really kind of added to the area, if that makes sense. Like what you did in here is awesome with these stars,
They're supposed to be suns.
or suns. Sorry, suns. Well, because I know at times you're kind of like, oh, I don't know what to do in here, and then you
Yeah.
obviously found out a way to kind of take up space and make it work.
Yeah, I worked really hard on this building. I really was trying to do something tropical and different. And yeah, I really like how it turned out.
Yeah, so talk to me about this little space out here.
Well, I love flowers, so I had the idea of making a plant wall, and this is probably one of the most innovative things I've ever done in the game.
Yeah.
I think it looks really cool, and I will be making more plant walls in the future.
Yep. I think it looks really cool as well. And I think Corey did a good job too of adding the extra flooring there because I think that looks really good.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. Except is that
There's a
supposed to
brown
be?
piece.
Yeah, that's supposed to be black. Um, Corey, you messed up. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so let's look at the other buildings you made here.
So that general shop you can't go in to.
Oh,
Yeah.
you can go in. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't make those clothing racks. I think NH99 and Tommy P made those, most likely.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that's NH99, I think. Or yeah, who knows? It's one of the two because they do stuff like that all the time. But
Yeah.
really cool kind of clothing store. And ooh, I like that vending.
Yeah.
Are those custom art shaped pieces that you used?
No, that's an actual sign.
Oh, that's an actual sign. Okay.
Yeah.
So vending $1 or less. Man, don't we wish vending machines were $1 now?
I know.
Well, I guess the one that's less than $1 is getting a gumball out of the gumball machine.
Yep. And this newspaper stand I got off the workshop too.
Yeah.
Those are the only things I think in the whole park that are from the workshop.
News. Yeah, really good job. And so let's see what else we got here. We got the elevated Ferris wheel. And then that's a walkway to go to that other section of the park, right?
Mhm.
Does this walk?
Yeah, that goes through too.
So, ooh, this is a cool building. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, so how did you, because I mean, I know I saw when you were working on some of this, but how did you kind of come up with wanting to have each building that was like,
Different.
yeah, each building different?
So I was really going for like a Caribbean, Jamaican vibe,
Okay.
and in the Caribbean, especially that general shop building, they have some islands that have like, yeah, they look Caribbean and colorful, but then the architectural style is like Dutch or something because Dutch settlers settled there. And so that's what I was going for. And then obviously the stucco kind of gives it a little bit of a Spanishy type vibe. And I worked with some colors to see if they worked together and turned out really good.
Yeah, it looks great. And then, so if you go back this way, there's a lot of that stuff Corey did right there. Which that little dome we'll get to in a little bit is just just amazing. I don't think there's any other way to put it. I thought at first these screens weren't working, and then I realized you kind of had them flashing, which is really cool. But this is called
Theater.
Rose Theater.
Yep.
Did you get the name at all from Schitt's Creek?
Possibly. It was pink. So I was like, I need something that's short that will fit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Maybe the only thing is having a little fencing there, but
yeah, they'll just fall off the cliff.
yeah, good
It's
thing.
not that tall, though. They would
Hopefully, y'all
survive.
have a first aid place around to handle that
I'm
stuff.
sure we do.
So let's head to the left. So do we want to go on Vice first?
Sure.
So this is the first coaster you made in the park, right? Or was it the second one?
First one.
And I love this kind of art detail right here. You know, kind of having the cable wires going through and having those art shapes, different lengths. I think that's a really cool touch.
Thanks.
So where'd you get that kind of idea from?
I was just making columns. Then I moved one and I was like, that looks kind of cool. And then I was like, let me just duplicate that. And then I thought, okay, I should put some cables in here to make it look like it's being suspended by the cables.
Yeah. You know, that reminds me of, remember when we took that tour of the Sears Tower, which is now the Willis Tower? and they talked about in Chicago, and they talked about how they came up with the awkward design or unique design for it. And it's like the guy took out a pack of cigarettes. It's got like 9 cigarettes, and he literally moved some up, moved
Oh
some
yeah.
down to kind of create the different levels. And
Yeah.
that's how they literally came up with the
The different
unique.
like roofing levels
Yeah,
of the spires or whatever.
yeah. So that's really cool. It kind of reminded when it's like, yeah, just had them as columns and turn them sideways.
Yeah.
So really, really cool job. So this is a spinning coaster. So we'll pause it and see. Look at these stats. Stats look good. I know you always try to get all green. G-force is good. Maybe lateral's a tad bit high, but overall looks good. Max speed 30. So this is more of a family coaster, you'd say?
Yeah.
All right, so let's take a ride on the coaster. So that was the spinning coaster, which was called Vice. And when you come out the exit, which I like those cables up there as well, you come out this way. Look at you using chain link fence.
Yep.
Warms my heart, Jasmine. Warms my heart. And then you got your photo booth, which I see you trying to learn from Corey there, because I know Corey does such an amazing job with that.
Yeah, he does.
And then so you got photo prices, so single 15, doubles 29, triples 43. As always, photos are super expensive in the park.
Yep.
Yeah. So were you happy with how this coaster ended up turning out? Did you have to like tweak it much, or was this kind of the original design that you had?
This was the original design. I knew I wanted it to be a small footprint, and I wanted it to be for kids. Probably the only adjustments I've made were trying to make those little tunnel covered buildings to fit in, which I mean, while we were looking at it, the train kind of hits a wall and it hits a rock. But otherwise, I'm really happy with it, and I love how it interacts with itself at multiple points.
Yeah, I know you've made a couple of these before, and I think this is the best one you've made. I don't know where the lateral G forces would have been really high at. Maybe it's like this last area here where there's not really any banking to it when you do that first turn. But I mean, to me, like
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's that spot. But other than that, I mean, everything looked really, really good. I think it's a great coaster. You did a great job.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm really happy with it.
Yep. So now we'll get to that. Oh, look how cool that looks, though, with that hotel back there.
Yeah.
That looks awesome. So now we're going to get to another area that Jasmine worked on. So it almost kind of worked out where Jasmine worked on the left side of the park, Corey worked on the right side. Except for like Corey has one area on the left side, you've got one area on the right side.
Yeah, yeah.
So carousel rules: no smoking, no food or drink, no bare feet, no jumping, no infants. So no fun is what you're saying then.
Those are actual rules from a
just
real
kidding.
carousel that I found on Google Earth.
I'm just kidding. It's funny that people would think, hey, let me get out a cigarette and smoke.
Yeah.
Or let's go bare feet.
Yep. Well, because I'm sure parents will have like their little toddlers and hold them, and the toddler isn't wearing like socks or shoes on.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I mean, that's a good rule to have.
Look at the view of this coaster right here. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So I think it's a very, very tall, majestic station. And one thing I think you are really improving at too, we all improve as we get better at this game. Like you really make large stations a lot of times, but you're doing a really good job too of like having them feel like large for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Kind of giving that majestic look to it.
Thanks. Yeah, that station was probably the hardest one in the whole park because it just has some weird angles to it. The columns are kind of different, and the I don't know what you call that, like the border, that yellow border.
Yeah.
Because I didn't make everything totally straight, it was pretty hard to work with.
Right. Let's go ahead and look at this coaster. Do not lean on glass window. Okay. So then we come in here. And I wish in the game, though, you could have the glass meet perfectly.
I know.
It just annoys me that
yeah.
it drives me crazy. But yeah, so let's go ahead and look at the stats on this coaster. Called it Yellow Flyer. Everything all green. G-forces look good. Max speed 55 miles per hour. Biggest drop 91 feet. It's funny because, like, that looks like it's bigger than 100 feet. But so, Jasmine, that was a really good wooden coaster, and I know you like building a lot of these wooden coasters. So, tell me a little bit about this one.
I actually watched a video of a wooden coaster. I can't remember what it was called now, but this is what it's based off of. And I can't remember where it was, but it wasn't Kentucky Flyer. It was something else. But yeah, I really wanted this
The
to
Raven
be.
Flyer or something? I don't know. There's one
I
called that.
I'm not sure, but it had a similar, like, it had a kind of a tall lift hill, and then it kind of drops a little bit and curves around before actually going through the drop, which I liked. But I wanted this to be kind of another sort of intermediate coaster, not too intense, with a small footprint.
Yeah, I think you did a really good job there. And it's annoying how in the game sometimes, every once in a while, you build a piece of track and it just kind of messes up. Like, I think it was right here. There's like a piece of track hanging through, and that's not your bad. Like, there's nothing you could do about that. It was like,
Yeah, I'm
like
not
right
sure
there.
why.
It's something with the supports and some little,
Oh,
I mean, it's just some kind of malfunction, like error in the game. Like, every once in a while, that'll happen with RMCs. So it makes sense that it would happen with wooden coasters as well.
and Corey helped me with the ending because I originally had it like it didn't have that loop at the end, and Corey adjusted it so that it would be more of a natural stop.
Yeah, I think that's a really good job. And you can see this is Corey's
Yeah.
awesome, just awesome river rapids. We'll get to that in a second. So let's head out the exit. And you've got a nice little food plaza here with chain link fence.
Yep.
I'm just like that because if anybody's heard us talk before, Jasmine's like, oh, I don't like these things. And I'm like, I love the chain link fence. Best thing in the
Yeah.
game. And you're like, what?
It's not bad for this because, like, if I didn't have a tall fence, they literally would be getting their head chopped off, or not head chopped off, but
They would jump the fence and try to
yeah.
jump the track. But no, that's a nice little restroom building. I think you did a great job with that there. And then we've got I like the name of it, Sandbar Burgers and Brews. Sounds like my place.
Yeah.
A burger and a beer.
Well, it's coffee, but we can call it beer.
Oh, brews. Yeah, I guess it makes more sense. Yeah, I like this, and I like how you are able to kind of see the ocean here, or lake, whatever this would be technically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks really good. And now the only thing I would add to is with your chain link fencing, I would think that you should continue this around right here on this side up to the water, just so the guests can't kind of run through here in a way. So like you were talking
yeah.
about the realism of having a higher fence, having it kind of outlining the edge of that coaster as well.
Yeah.
You know, and that's obviously that's something the guests will never use in the game, but it's just from that adding that extra realism. But yeah, I mean, really cool, unique building. And so, and then your carousel, I didn't talk about your custom.
Yeah, you didn't, babe.
I'm so sorry. That's my fault. But no, this is really, really cool. I know this took you a while.
Yeah, well, and for those watching, Michael tried to help me make this like a perfect circle, but I had already spent so much time on it. And I actually really like that it's not like a perfect.
Yeah, I think it looks cool.
Yeah, makes it look old.
But it's not a perfect circle, but it's symmetrical. Like you've got
Yeah.
essentially everything's equally spaced out. You've got your two bars here, or your two kind of posts, but then they're all equally spaced out like that. So
Yeah.
it looks really cool. And then now we're going to head to Corey's area. And I just love this foliage right here. And then also using, I think this is the temple block.
Yeah.
So it gives it kind of a cool look.
Yep.
I mean, some of the stuff Corey does too. I mean, I know you and I both are just like, how does he do this? And how does he do it in a week or a couple days? Like
he builds so quickly.
Yeah. So it's like
so that section that we just came from, I remember I had the park for 2 weeks. So all of that took me 2 weeks. This whole ride right here that Corey made took him a week.
And just some of the colors too, like that city brick or whatever that's called. I would not think to color it yellow like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he just does a good job of finding ways to make stuff work. That I'm like, oh, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
And then here it looks like
some sort of fence.
Oh wow. Yeah, so what he did is he actually
I think those are individual pieces.
Yeah, this is part of what takes up a lot of the counter is 1, 2, 3, 4. So these really cool wooden fences are not actually wooden fences at all. It's literally just 4 objects per piece.
Yeah.
So that's a really cool kind of genius idea of giving it the look of it being a wooden fence, but still looking more detailed and stuff like that. And then you've obviously got these covered areas.
Mm-hmm.
So we head this way. Nice little foliage.
And Corey's foliage work is really good too, and I think like both of our styles together works really well.
Yeah. So I like how from this view you can see a little bit of this coaster up here, but I think like look at the foliage up there. Like that just looks beautiful. And then you can see obviously the wooden coaster up there. You see the trees in the background. But I'm more just looking at kind of this spot here, and I'm like, this is so well done. Like it gives such a good sight line.
Yeah.
And then obviously this whole kind of turnaround.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was like it's like 4% of the counter. Just using those pieces.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Then you got the kind of like a water stone, or not a stone, but a water basin and stuff up there. Mm-hmm. And then you've got it kind of kicking out in the water spouts here. But without further ado, let's go ahead and hop on the rapids. check out this area at night. Yeah, I mean, and it's really well lit because it's not a ton of lighting, but it's done perfectly. And it seems to all be spaced out
Yeah.
at just the perfect kind of intervals. So what was your... I guess you lit this part up pretty well, too.
Yeah, I think both Corey and I worked a lot with lighting on this.
Yeah, it looks really good. Ooh, you got your strobe lights here at your cinema.
Yep.
The Rose Cinema, that's awesome. Yeah, lots of light in here. Looks good. So this next area of yours, do you want us to look at it at night or at daytime?
We can look at that in daytime.
Okay.
I mean, there's some lighting over there, but...
Yeah. So I think we could go back this way. Whoop, whoop, oh, sorry. So now if we head out this way and we head to the left, we come to this kind of jungle section. Let's look at you, Jasmine. Custom curbs.
Yeah, that took a lot of work.
Yeah, it is. It's tedious, but I think it definitely helps. So there we got the sundial, which does have a line, which is good. And then you've got another kind of flat right here. Yeah, so just talk to me about this. Tell us a little bit about this area before we look at the coaster and stuff.
Yeah, I was kind of trying to make a jungle vibe. I think when we first started the park, we really were going for like a jungle vibe, but then it kind of turned into like a tropical resort vibe. So I wanted to make sure the jungle was represented on this too.
Yeah, some food and drink. So let's go ahead and take a look at Jungle Rush. And I love that station, kind of almost like, is that like a bell tower up there? Or
it's not a bell tower, but it's kind of like a tower.
Yeah, so you got the queue here, and you got kind of the plane, which kind of makes sense that since you're in the jungle. And then I know I saw you working on this, and I know you're really excited about how this little focal piece kind of turned out.
Yeah, I really was wanting to kind of match Corey's rapids. So I initially was thinking it was going to be like Mayan temple, and then I was like, that's going to take way too many pieces. So then I was like, let's go with green. And then what goes with green? Jungle. So
Yeah. Well, looks good. And so let's go ahead and look at the stats while we wait for the coaster to leave. So this is an SLC. Stats look really good. 119-foot drop, 4 inversions. And Jasmine, I'll talk to y'all after the coaster. So that was Jungle Rush, and Jasmine, I couldn't help but notice that there was at least one custom inversion in here that was really well done, and I think it was this part here, if I'm not mistaken, or there was at least 1 or 2 parts where you did custom inversions. So yeah, talk to me about just tell us a little bit about this coaster and how it kind of came about, because I know you talked about the theming and stuff for it, but how'd you decide on the SLC, and how'd you kind of come up with the design with it and stuff?
I think I really like suspended coasters, and we didn't have one in the park. I wanted it to be a little more intense, still not, the most crazy thing ever. It says that there's 4 inversions. I only counted 3, so there's like
1.
Maybe it's counting.
Let's see. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So what it does is it might count this as 1, because that banking's over 90 degrees. So what the game does is any
Oh.
banking that's over 90 degrees, it counts as inversion. So I think it probably counts that as one.
Okay. Okay.
And then you've got that there.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's a custom inversion, and I think that other one was custom as well.
Yeah. So that's part of your progression as a coaster builder, is starting to try to do some custom inversions here and there. So.
Yeah, I really wanted it to be, like going through a forest. I tried to have like a little building that it would go through, and then the little like shipwreck stern, or I'm not sure what that's called, but I thought that was cute.
Yeah, I think you did a good job, and it hugs the ground a lot, so it's definitely a terrain coaster.
Yeah.
And so that kind of adds to it as well.
Thank you.
So anything else in this area for us to talk about?
We can talk about my amazing planter in the middle.
Somebody's a little high on themselves right now.
So I've started making these multi-level planters, and I'm obsessed with them. And I just think it looks so good. And then having that fountain in the middle. I also had one in the main plaza entrance.
Yep.
And I don't know. I just have to brag on myself a little bit for that because it looks so good.
Well, see, I think this part looks really good too. All this foliage. So.
Thanks.
That's a really good job. Jasmine is the queen of foliage.
Yay.
That's my new title that I'm giving to you. Queen of foliage. All right, so let's head back this way.
Okay.
And then, you know what? Is that our maze? Yeah, okay. So Corey made this maze for a crazy reason, but which, by the way, I like that tunnel. It's very unique. So Corey decided just to make this walk-through maze for the guest. And I like how he made the flooring green.
Yep. There's ice cream or water.
Water. Let's see. I was not trying to look at it before to try to figure out the way. I was just trying to make sure that it connected to the other entrance. So let's get out of this maze. There we go. Woo! Nope. Never mind. Oh yeah, we did. He defeated the maze. That guy looked a little bit dejected or something after walking out of there.
He's like, where am I?
He's got green hair, just like the maze. But yeah, I just want to point out what Corey did here. Like, dude, what in the world, Corey?
Yeah,
this is insane.
Amazing. And then how he had to make the queue. And then just the fact that he managed to dig this hole, put the walls around it, like that's super tough.
Yep, and I need to use these pieces more, but all I can say to this is temple blocks.
Yeah.
The temple blocks are so versatile with what you can do with them. And yeah, I mean, just all the, like this is, so the queue, ooh, I like how it just wraps around. So you come down this way. I mean, look at the view.
I know.
And the shadows.
I know, it looks so cool.
Hold on, I'm trying to see the shadows at the different time of day. So it's like how the sun hits it gives you different views. So that's really, really cool. And then, so if we were to, so basically from the main area, if you were to walk through here, what you would then see is a little, that's a drop tower.
Yep.
That Corey made.
I did that.
Oh, you did that part? Oh, my bad, Jasmine.
I did that part.
Well, then it could have been done better. No, I'm just kidding. But really good job. And then here we have Corey's building along with his coaster and his, like, I love how I put in these like drawers and stuff like that. And all it is
shapes, I think.
So that's like a rectangle.
Yeah.
And then that would be the colorable panel. And then, I mean, really basic, but yet it's just so good.
Yep.
Then I love this. Like, that's awesome. That view.
Yeah, so turn it on at night because he has some good lighting. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think this should be a night ride. Yeah, this almost reminds me of something that would be like a pier theme park.
Oh yeah.
Just how it's all lit up and stuff like that. So Caribbean Crush. Is this where the queue starts? Yep. So we head in. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
He does make very long queues.
Mm-hmm.
And he made a little track, whatchamacallit?
Transfer track.
Yeah.
Transfer track. Oh, we put the extra coaster train in there.
That's the only one in the park.
Yep. You know, the actually, no, that does work. My bad. I was thinking that the coaster came out this way, so I was like, oh, that's facing the wrong direction. But no, it is. It's going that way.
Yep.
I was not thinking properly. And I love these posts that he used right here. Is that all one piece?
And look at the view here. So while you're standing in line, you can see almost the whole park.
Yeah, you can see that sundial ride in the background over there. You can see the little bit of the wooden coaster through the trees. Yeah, really, really cool. And then we come into the station. And we have a lot of custom pieces put in here. And I love the roof. Like, this roof is awesome. So if we look at it from above, this is what it looks like.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah. And so if anybody's wondering, the reason why he did this is because he had to make the station longer to accommodate all the extra coaster trains without having like 4 or 5 block sections in the actual coaster. So that's why the station's longer. But I love how he used those wooden pieces to kind of cover up the actual station. So let's look at these stats. Everything's all green. G-force is just a little bit high, but everything looks good. 6 inversions, 5 airtime hills. We'll talk to you after the coaster. Yeah, Jasmine, you were right about how well he lit this thing up at night, because this was definitely, I think, a better night ride than day ride.
Yeah.
And I love the layout that he had. I think it's a really good job, and I like how you've got the thin track at moments, and then you've got the kind of more thicker, more traditional type track. And there's a couple moments with some really good hang time, like right there, and then you got some airtime hills here at the end. And it kind of slows down, but that's a good thing that kind of slows into the brake run right there. So I think it's a really good coaster. What do you think?
Can you show me the thin track versus the thick track? Because I guess I didn't really notice that.
Yeah, so with these Gerstlauer tracks, you have the option of doing track number 1 or track number 2.
Oh.
So it's like, this is like a triangular shape, almost like the Mac coaster track. And then this one is kind of thin. So it gives you the option. Like here, it's thin at the drop because of how close that gets to the actual lift. But then you have the option of which type of coaster track you want to use.
Okay. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on this coaster?
No, I think he did an impeccable job, and I love the lighting and the station that he did.
Mm-hmm. You hear that, Corey? You did an impeccable job. First time I've heard Jasmine use that word about something being created and playing a coaster. So
impeccable.
Just impeccable. So well done. That's a cool view. Perfect timing. So it looks like a spinning coaster. We got a bathroom here, which I like what Corey did here. And I like how you've got the different sides. And
This is
Another. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say this is called Crash Test, I think.
Yeah. So one thing that we noticed from Corey throughout this build is everything he built was amazing, and everything he built took up a lot of pieces.
Yeah, well, so he kind of goes for like minute details. Oh, there's a floating fence.
We didn't see that. We didn't see that. That wasn't there.
And so he will kind of make things a little bit hard for himself, I think. Just with like building, and I don't mean that in like a mean way or anything. I just mean like he likes to have, use up a lot of the counter, and I'm kind of like, I'm trying to make as little as possible.
Yeah.
But obviously, everything he does works out really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. So if we head back this way, we're actually going to come to that after in a second.
Yeah, we gotta fix our benches.
Yep.
People vandalizing stuff.
And so you made this, right? This little food.
Yeah, I
food
made
area?
the red section. Yeah.
Yeah, and so this is cool. One thing I feel like you could add is add a TV, just kind of angled, and then just put like an advertisement for whatever the shop is, because I feel like that's a good way to make it look like it's a menu screen.
Mhm.
And so we got a wing coaster, I believe. And so this was the last area of the park that was built.
Wait, you didn't want to look at the crash test?
No, we will. We'll come to it because we gotta go around this way.
Oh,
so,
okay.
if I sneeze in a second, I'm apologizing ahead of time, so I feel like I gotta sneeze. So, we got a couple flat rides in here. So we got Free Flyer, which we actually watched one of these at Carowinds for a little bit, and I'm even like, man, all these kids are getting on this thing, and that thing's almost going upside down. And then you've got the Hammer Swing, which is just an awesome view. And then you've got the wing coaster. And you really like making these coasters as well, don't you?
Now I do, yeah.
So I feel like this is 2 straight parks you've had a wing coaster.
Wing coaster and Woody coasters. Yeah, I really like them.
Jasmine said Woody.
Woody Allen.
Sorry, I had to make a joke.
This is a family YouTube channel. This is for children.
Yes, it is. I'm surprised Jasmine didn't give me a look right there like, I can't believe that. How could you? No, I'm just kidding. But what is the name of this coaster, Jasmine?
Sea Eagle.
Sea Eagle. All right, so looking at the stats, everything's all green. G-forces look great. 148 feet. So let's go ahead and take a ride on the coaster. Quick view of this area at night, and it's not a Jasmine coaster if the coaster's not lit up like this. But yeah, really good job. I think the only thing would be kind of putting a little bit more banking on this first hill. Just kind of having it bank out a little bit more. But other than that, I think it's it's a good coaster. So I think you did a good job with it. I think my favorite part about it, Jasmine, ultimately is, and this goes back to you and Corey kind of working together. When you're up here at the top, right before you go down, I mean, look at the view of that hotel as well.
Yeah.
Like, that's so well done. So we'll go check out the hotel in a little bit. Yeah, tell us a little bit about this coaster.
Okay, so this coaster, I wanted it to be the most intense coaster in the park, or maybe top 2. Because most of the other coasters are kind of intermediate or more kiddie, and so this one I tried to make a little more intense. I really love these wing coasters too, and I kind of struggled with the layout a little bit. But yeah, ultimately, I really like how it came out. I love the station. I love the queue. Everything interacts well. And, I love to color code everything, so I had to go with red.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I think you did a good job. I mean, these coasters are tough to make sometimes, just because you have to account for the fact that you're not sitting right above the track. You're hanging out over like on the outside of the track. So it is a
yeah.
very different experience. So let's go ahead and switch back to daytime. And then we will look at the last main area of the park, which I love this. Corey made a slingshot. Look at that. I would never ride one of those in real life, but he made a slingshot. Like the guests can't use it, but yeah, it just looks awesome.
Yeah.
So this is really cool. Um, only thing, Corey, you need to save this as a blueprint, man. Because if you click on it, it's not all saved as a blueprint. It's just
Yeah.
like those pieces and that. So Corey, you need to come back into your park and save it as a blueprint, put it on the workshop so we can all use it. Because those, you start seeing a lot more of these in theme parks now, or maybe about 10 years ago, a lot of them were building them, and I mean they look really cool, even though I'd never go on it. Let's see, hold on. Yeah, I love the view of there. You just get a quick glimpse of that station, so I think that looks pretty cool with the helicopter on top.
Yeah.
And then here we are, crash test. Once again, a lot of foliage.
Yeah, you really can't see much from the queue.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree. Now, I think this is one area, and remember, this is not Corey saying anything bad, but I think this is an area where Corey, if you look here, instead of just using the wall pieces, now granted, it is rounded, but he used like
made the whole station with columns.
Yeah, the entire station is made with columns, so
that really bumped up the piece count.
Yeah, I mean, that adds a lot to the percentage. I understand you get a little bit more freedom with that. But I mean, you could also use just the normal brick columns. But remember, that's not to say anything bad. That's just, like we said, I think Corey likes to take on the challenge of doing stuff in a very unique way that most people don't. And it does work out to be really cool, though, because it allows you to kind of have this rounded section. And then I like
I don't think I ever noticed that.
Kind of checkered coloring right there. Looks really cool. Oh, and you got the helicopter pad.
Yep. And then the helicopter that crashed. No, over there.
Where?
Right. That's left.
I know, but I said right. I wasn't. Where's the helicopter that crashed?
Wait, go down. There.
Oh, there. Yep, and it's on fire.
It's gonna blow up.
Uh-oh. How's it not lighting the grass on fire? I love this station. I love the little detail of having these kind of going around, that little fencing. I think that's really cool. And right there, okay, so that's just a sign for crash test. So really, really cool. Let's look at these stats. And this is the last coaster in the park. This is kind of like one of my parks with how many coasters there are. G-forces look good, 97 feet. No, so here's the thing. I think because that's a block section, so we got block section there, block section here, block section there. Because the coaster hasn't left the station, and this block section is occupied, that one has to stay there. So what I would say is turn one of these into a block section, because then you allow yourself to have 3 or 4 of these coasters sitting on the brake run instead of them having to sit there and wait.
Oh, I totally thought
Yeah,
it was
you see, like, so there's the block section, and it stops because that one hasn't cleared the block section yet.
Oh.
So that's like the safety mechanism that coasters have. So yeah, I mean, I like that. I think this is a really cool look right here. And one thing I wanted to point out is I think the spinning was really good. And that's one thing I didn't say, Jasmine, on your earlier one that I meant to, is that the spinning was done really well on your other coaster. But I love this view here. Like, look at that view of the park that you get.
Yeah.
That's just awesome. So what did you like about this coaster?
Well, I like that it's a spinning coaster, but obviously this one is much more intense than my kitty one. So it's like there's some progression in this park as far as the coasters go, and I think that's really important to have when you're making a park. This one, the towers he made remind me of Harry Potter. I know it doesn't look like Harry Potter, but that's just what I think of when I see that.
I can see that when the dragon's chasing him through the... Yeah. I can see that for sure. Yeah, I definitely see some... I mean, you see on these types of coasters a lot of these really overbanked hills like that, and so this was really good job, because it doesn't go upside down, but yet it's a really intense coaster for this type. Because it's a pretty, like, you don't really see these coasters this tall, so that's an intense first drop, but it was really well done. And then over here, the last thing to really point out is we got this little island that's just got nothing really on it, but still gives a good look. And then if you purchased an overnight stay in this hotel, you come along this road and come up here. Don't drive off the edge. And then we got another little parking lot here. And I love the kind of blue planters.
Yeah.
And just another really good job by Corey with this hotel.
Yeah, it looks really good.
And creating that little kind of, it's not really a maze, but you know, like the little plaza area
garden.
there. Little garden, flower garden.
So what is this? I don't know. What's the percentage? Because we cheated a little bit.
Well, there's a way that we can test. So roughly,
I guess it just says 100.
So, but here's what we can test this out. So roughly every 700 pieces on the PlayStation 5 counts as a percent. So that's 2,100 pieces, and we're still over the limit. So that's like 2,500. So basically, 2,500 divided by 7. So that's going to be about an extra 4-ish percent. So really went over by it. So it's about 104% in the park. Would be my guess. But I just love this view here too, that you can come and see and watch the coaster that you made. So I think that's a really cool look. And yeah, so we are done looking at the park. Jasmine, what's your favorite kind of coaster in the park? And don't be afraid to say one of your own. That's fine.
Well, honestly, I don't know. I really like all of them.
Yeah.
I really like my Vice coaster that I made.
Agreed.
I really like the Jungle Rush one. I mean, I really like the Wing coaster too. I feel like I really stepped up my coaster game on this. And I really liked Corey's too. And he was just gracious enough to let me make a whole bunch of coasters on this.
Yep. Yeah, it's funny. I remember when you made like 2 coasters in 1 week or 2 weeks, I was like, oh, you're building 2 coasters, huh?
Yeah, I built the Vice one and the Yellow Flyer in like 1 week or something.
Yeah, I think my favorite coaster is a tie between, I like the Vice and then I love this one too. Yeah. I think they're both just so well done. I mean, all the coasters are well done in this park. I think my favorite area though is the combination of the parking lot entrance and then what you did here. Like, I just think y'all merged the 2 styles of y'all's building together so well to kind of create this entryway into the park. And then you obviously have your very defined sections. But I just think you guys both did a very good job with this. Like, even though these are different styles, this, looks enough like this to where I wouldn't sit there and think that this was made by different people.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and that was intentional because I was trying to use similar pieces and color scheme that he used. And then once I did that, I was kind of like, okay, time for colorful buildings.
Yep, for sure. For sure. Well, any other thoughts or anything else that you want to let the viewers know about this park or about your collab with Corey?
No, I'm not sure if Corey has put this on the Frontier Workshop yet.
He has, because I had to download
Okay.
it to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, make sure you subscribe to Webb Gaming. That's Corey's channel. He's really good at building, obviously, and so he deserves more support. So we
Yeah.
appreciate you watching, and this was such a fun park to make.
Yeah, totally agree. Corey does deserve. Sorry, I'm trying to get back to Night here at the end. Yeah, he does. I mean, he deserves more subscribers and support too. He just does such a good job. And yeah, the link to the description, or the link to this park, will be in the description. Wow, I can't speak. What I meant to say was the link to this park on the workshop will be in the description. So make sure to click on that link so you can download on your computer, so it'll be on your PlayStation the next time you log in. But no, yeah, I definitely recommend taking a walk around this park.
I have one more question for you.
Yes.
If you could name this park other than the island, what would you call it? I asked Corey this question. He didn't know. And I was like, well, it has to be something island. I don't know.
Oh gosh. Put me on the spot. Let's think. Tropical paradise. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that's not a question I should ask.
Well, what would you name it then?
I
If you
don't
put me on the
know.
spot.
I don't know.
You expect me to know, and then.
I just think it needs to be something island, but like the island isn't really a name.
I mean, it could be like Fantasy Island or something. Like there is enough fantasy themed on it where it could kind of fit that.
Yeah. Or like Caribbean
retreat or something like that. I don't know. Yeah.
Jungle island. I don't know.
Yeah, let's just throw all these random words together and hope it works out. That's what Jasmine's thinking. But no, I mean, and then look at this at night too. I think this is probably my favorite individual area in the park. Just that. Like, I remember when Corey showed this to me. He's like, look what I did. I was like, dude, what in the world?
Yeah.
Just incredible. Yeah, thank y'all so much for watching. Anything else, Jasmine?
Nope, that's it.
All right, so we'll talk to y'all later.
Bye.